Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Lynchburg. Here we gather in a spirit of freedom and friendship. Whoever you are, whatever your beliefs, whatever your age, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we work together for justice, compassion, and peace, we also acknowledge with humility that our buildings sit on land originally part of the Monacan Nation. My name is Courtney Senna. I've been a member of First Unitarian Church for almost 18 years. My heart is very wrapped up in this church and its community. I am most recently the past president of the Board of Trustees, and I am your incoming Director of Lifespan Education. If you are with us for the first time, we are glad you chose to be here this morning to participate in the service for this church community we love. We would be happy to tell you more about our community during virtual social time following the service. If you would like to receive our monthly newsletter and Friday email updates, please fill out the virtual visitor card found on our website, uulynchburg.org, under Sunday services held via Zoom. You can also fill out the yellow card in the back of your seat pocket for those of you in the sanctuary. You may also wish to join our Facebook group. For those of you on Zoom, please note that the order of service is in the chat to the right of your screen. We'll take a short pause from our Zoom community and allow the members in the sanctuary to greet one another. All right, and I don't have any announcements this morning, but if anybody else has anything they need to share, now would be the time. All right, as we enter our time of worship, we light the flame of our chalice, sharing these words. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to hope and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, bless and not to curse, serve you, O Spirit of life.
Our opening words this morning were written by Lynn Cox. Come, you accidental pilgrims, you who find yourself on a journey of surprise and wonder. Come, you who emerge into this place as an act of liberation. Come, you who seek a life of mindfulness and a place to test your thoughts. Come, you who bring hearts of all kinds, heavy hearts, rusty hearts, hearts broken open in revelation, hearts full of love to share. Come, you who seek courage, and you who have more courage than you realize. Come, you who stand behind the curtain, gathering up the resources to claim your truth. Come, you who have been in a bubble, you who are poised for transformation. We begin our story again, gathering courage, love, mindfulness, and a sense of purpose. We gather as people of all ages, of different abilities, different backgrounds, and different perspectives. We share a covenant, a direction for our shared journey, and a commitment to encourage and challenge one another to spiritual growth. This path will ask much from us. Let us move forward with love. Let us move forward with appreciation for one another. Let us move forward knowing we are not alone. Whoever you are, whatever your gifts, you are welcome to join this journey. Our opening hymn is number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath.
The ministries of our church are supported by the love, talents, and efforts of our many volunteers and staff, as well as the monetary support of our members and friends. If you have found this church to be of value in your life, then I invite you to use the donate button found at uulynchburg.org at the bottom of the menu on the left for donations to First Unitarian. Just click the button to give generously through any credit card or directly from your bank. You can also send a check to the church. We will also be passing the basket if you are in the sanctuary. We're ready, David. We receive these monetary gifts along with the gifts of your time, work, and creativity, which also sustain our church. As together we give generously to support our congregation, let us also commit ourselves to a unity of spirit to make manifest a more just, peaceful, and loving world. It is our tradition to honor the whole of our lives, and so you are invited to share the joys,
Our meditation this morning was written by Meg Barnhouse, who's the minister in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And it brought back memories of my time working in construction in the field. All summer, workers have been building a brick wall along the road by my neighborhood. Against the brutal heat, they stretch a tarp overhead to get a little shade. I've watched them take bricks in their dusty brown hands, one by one, butter them thickly with mortar, line them up, tap them down, row by row. One man, who looks to be in his 70s, is the leader. His skin is the color of bittersweet chocolate. His beard is gray. Slender and tall, he moves from one group of bricklayers to the next, reaching and bending, looking like a heron in a marsh. When he pauses, he stands very straight. I see him teach the others how to do the work. He stoops over to look at a line of bricks, hands on his thighs, inspecting the work. Sometimes, as I drive by, I see him put his hand on the back of the person he's teaching. Often, they're both smiling. He looks like he loves what he's doing. I wonder how he can love building walls day after day, handling bricks, teaching the art of laying bricks. Is it the teaching he loves? Seeing how his students learn, what their styles are, how their work shows their character? Does he love the wall itself? Does he know about when it'll be done? Does he look forward to seeing it finished? Or does he love the process, the feel of the bricks in his hands, the squish of the mortar, the challenge of making the symmetry of pillars and arches, the geometry of it? I think, from the look on his face, that he loves the process. I imagine that he never thinks about the end of the project, the completion of the wall. I think he will go on to the next wall as if it were just a continuation of this one, then the next one, and the next, and never be bored. I want to be like that, and I am, I guess. In my job as a minister, the bricks are stories. I hear stories of family and work, stories of loss and reconciliation, stories of rejection and disaster, illness and healing, birthing and dying. I tell stories every Sunday, and in between, teaching, challenging, confessing, inviting people to learn and laugh and think. Brick by brick, story by story, we build a church. Seeing the patterns, the symmetry, the plain joy of setting one story on the other, sustained by the strong and beautiful structures they make. We will never be finished. It's okay. Our sermon this morning was recorded by Reverend Viola Abbott when she was, I think, associated with the Blacksburg or New River Valley congregation. And I understand from Terry, she's since relocated.
Unitarian Universalists can and do draw from a variety of sources for personal inspiration and as a means of achieving greater insight. But we also enhance our religious and spiritual selves through experiences. The first source of Unitarian Universalism tells us that. But the experience alone is not where our opportunity for growth lies. It is in the pause that comes after it. Things are happening to us everywhere and all the time. Right now is an experience for each and every one of us. But unless we are intentional about it, I'm not sure how much of what we encounter we think of as experiences which can give us greater insight. Our lives are busy. They are sometimes overwhelming. We work, we volunteer, we take care of our children, we visit our parents, and sometimes we take care of them too. We go grocery shopping, and we often do all of this without taking the time to really think about where we are, or where we have been, or what has happened to us. There is great power in the pause. Taking the time to pause, to actually think about these things, can help us to think of better ways to do them, or they may help us to decide to stop doing some of them altogether. But the pause can speak to us in other ways. It may give us greater insight into some other aspect of our being. It could impact on how we are in the world, even after doing simple things. Pauses can help us to find the infinite within the finite. I attended a workshop where we discussed the importance of pausing to demonstrate to the participants how even the mundane can have a profound effect when you are fully engaged in the moment and take the time to think about it afterward. We were each given a raisin and asked to chew it 60 times before swallowing. One raisin, 60 times. And then we paused and shared our thoughts about the experience. All I will say is, wow. And I invite you to try it yourselves. But where can pausing and reflection take place? They can happen anywhere. More often than not, we assign our reflective times to special places. Because we are so busy, we carve the time out. Perhaps it happens at church, a dedicated meditative space at home, or somewhere in nature. Our seventh principle calls us to affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. So it makes sense that being in nature is special and restorative for many of us. I can tell you that it is for me, and that is where many of my pauses take place. While I generally enjoy being in the outdoors, being in or near the water holds a special place in my heart. I think it may be because I grew up along the banks of the Hudson River in New York, or maybe it's because I'm a Virgo, and that's an earth sign, and the water nourishes the earth. Although I didn't swim in it until I was almost 20, the ocean has always had great allure for me. And when I came to know it, I found that the warm sand, the sound of the surf, the feel of the water against my skin, and the sound of the waves crashing were transformative for me. The ocean. It is beautiful because of the way it looks on a cloudless day and because of the wonderful, soothing white noise it makes. It is delightful because of the shells, driftwood, smooth stones, and ancient glass it brings up. It is terrifying because the very same waves that can calm you can carry you away, or maybe even hide something threatening. Many years ago, I took a trip to Venice, Florida, and I decided to spend some time at a place there called Casperson Beach. Casperson Beach is a large park which includes not only a beach, but a sanctuary containing marshes, mangroves, tidal flats with trails running throughout. Without looking very hard, you can find a variety of plant and animal wildlife. Additionally, because of the nature of the tide there, Casperson is known for being an excellent place to shell and to find shark teeth. When I got there, I walked south along the shoreline for about a mile or so. I found some shells, which were large and easy to spot, but I simply could not find any shark teeth. It was clear to me that other people were finding them, though. They were oohing and eyeing and dropping shark teeth into pockets and sand buckets, but I was having no luck. I decided to turn around and start walking back the way I came. And then I ran into Don. Don was an elderly gentleman. He was standing on the beach where the waves reached as far onto the sand as they could before returning to the sea. The water was swirling around his feet. Aside from his swimming trunks, he wore only a baseball cap and a pair of sunglasses as protection from the blazing sun. He had his back to the advancing and retreating water and was looking at something that he was holding in his open palm. He must have seen me walking by, looking down at the sand. He held out his hand and called to me. "See," he said. I looked at the thing in his hand, a misshapen black triangle, slightly smaller in size than a guitar pick. "I found one," he said to me, and I looked closer. "It's a shark tooth," he said. "Take it. I have plenty. I come here all the time." He extended his hand even further toward me, and I picked up the tooth. It didn't look like what I was expecting a shark tooth to look like at all. And that leads me to the first of many things I learned spending time with Don that day as we stood in the waves, and he helped me look for shark teeth. Most of us envision shark teeth as white, but the shark teeth at this beach are prehistoric. They have been forged under the water for ages, for millennia, turning them into fossils. Because of the sediment where these particular teeth come from, when they finally wash ashore, they're black. As soon as I learned what they look like, I saw them all around me in the sand. And then I paused. If you take the time to really figure out and know what you are looking for, you will know when you find it, and you may not have to look very far for it at all. The best way to look for shark teeth is to stand in the sand with your back to the water. And you need to position yourself in the sand so that just the right amount of water flows past you as the waves advance and retreat on the shore. Some shark teeth are deposited in the sand after a wave brings them in, but many remain in the water, swirling around on their return to the sea. Of course, we could have hunted around on the sand to pick up the shark teeth left there. And in fact, many people were doing just that. But what Don did was demonstrate how much easier it was to look for the teeth in the retreating waves and pick them up as they came to us. And then I paused. Where you choose to be can make all the difference in the ease with which you achieve your goal. When looking for shark teeth, you need just the right amount of sunlight. When you think of a great day at the beach, you think of the sun being out, but too much sun can be just as bad for your search as no sun at all when you are trying to collect shark teeth as they wash ashore. On a sunny day, which this was, the sun can be blinding. It reflects off of the top of the water, making it difficult to see what lies beneath the surface. Don showed me how, with the sun at our backs, and by looking at what was in front of us, the shadows we made on the water reduced the glare. It became easy to see the shark teeth in the water. The sun and the shadows were two extremes, and we needed just the right amount of each to see what we were looking for. And then I paused. Finding the right balance is important. As Don and I stood in the surf and looked for shark teeth, we spoke of where we were from, our careers, our families, and what brought us to Florida. He told me about his life as a lawyer in the Midwest, that he was a snowbird, that he had married 3 times and that he wasn't going to do it again, that he loved Venice and how much the red tide that had come some years before had worried him because it killed so many fish and washed them all ashore. He told me about the largest shark tooth he had ever found and that he kept all of his shark teeth in jars at his house and gave many of them away to people, like the one he gave to me. He explained why the teeth washed up where they did. We talked and talked and talked and laughed a lot, and every so often, one of us would bend over and pick up a tooth or two before it sailed by. And then I paused. There can be joy in the wait. Long after Don and I parted company, I stayed long enough to watch the sun set over the Gulf. It was beautiful. The treasures that I found at the beach that day consisted not only of the shells and the handful of shark teeth that I had collected, but of the friend I made in Don. I wondered what my day would have been like if he hadn't looked up at the same time that I was looking down. And then I paused. Sometimes it can be okay to speak with strangers. What did that day hold for me in the pauses? Be clear about what you're looking for. Choose the right location. Find the right balance. Enjoy the wait and speak to people along the way. While not absolute unto themselves, these are nonetheless important things to keep in mind in any search, on any journey in life. Who would have thought that something as simple as looking for shark teeth would have demonstrated and affirmed these things for me? And one more pause. Be open to the possibilities. You may find things more valuable than that which you were seeking in the first place. There are many analogies and parallels we can draw between what goes on around us and some of the larger questions and life lessons we need to be mindful of. The travel writer Pico Iyer once said, "In a piece of music, it's the pause or the rest that gives the piece its beauty and its shape." And so it is with life. We should be thankful for every single day that is given to us. Sometimes the truth and wisdom that so many of us seek is not always found in books. There's so much around us, even the innocuous, that presents opportunities for learning and reflection. Even in days filled with sadness, we can find respite in simple things if we take the time. Try to remember to see what is really around you. Be fully engaged in every single one of your moments. Whenever you can, pause and reflect on where you are right then and there. Before you open the door, turn on the tea kettle, fill up the bird feeder, or start the next conversation. You never know what you might find when you are looking for your shark teeth. Ashe, amen, and blessed be.
Our closing hymn is number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit.
And while I was watching the service, I did some research, and Viola Davis, is the Abbott. Sorry, is the minister at the church in Virginia Beach. That's where she is. So
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, David. As our service draws to a close, we extinguish the flame of our chalice as we say these words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction this morning was written by Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving. Thank you, Courtney, and David, and Steph, and anyone else who helped with the service.